Hey moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm just checking in with some great upgrades today to help you on your journey in just becoming a top reality maker and just being a mogul of your reality, right? Instead of just, I'm just a person, I'm doing life. It's pretty low frequency. We're here to step up and be a mogul of your reality. So I've got some important upgrades that are going to be game changing for you. They're worth millions of dollars, so stay tuned. Okay, so today's upgrade from just being a person, just having a life, into a mogul who runs your reality and runs it absolutely at a top level and designs whatever it is that you want, whether it's your empire, your dynasty, whatever you want it to be. This is about your ideal reality, and one of the key things is to upgrade the conditioning that most everyone gets in the world, except for the top families who give their kids the top conditioning and programming. And that conditioning has to do with the programming that you're going to just get a job, and the way in which, as we're all coming up from being little ones and we're going through school and all of this stuff, there's a teeny tiny amount of conversation about getting a job and just barely any about what you're really going to do in the future. But most of the time, it's about getting a job. And yet, what I want to share with you is that the wealthiest people train their kids, and the wealthiest people in the system they have their kids in are training their kids to create wealth. So I want to have you make this shift from just being a worker to being a wealth maker. I'm going to say that again so we get it clear. From being a worker to being a wealth maker. Okay, wealth builder, whichever one you feels better to you. And one of the ways that we can do that is by recognizing that instead of thinking about things of like, what's our job? What are we going to do? What the job is? What do we do? As people ask it, like, what do you do? And instead, thinking the way that the wealthy think, which is about what role am I going to play in this video game, right? What role I'm going to play and what wealth am I going to make and what reality am I going to create? So, what wealth am I going to build? What reality am I going to make? It's a different paradigm. And this is why you see a bunch of people who get to play the game at the highest level, have all the wealth, have more companies than you could even imagine, have more wealth than they need for 10 generations, because they're being given different training, which is what I'm giving to you as a revolutionary scientist who studies reality and understands how you can do it on a revolutionary level, because that's my role. So, yes, I'm a psychologist. Yes, I'm an author. But ultimately, we're talking about making a revolutionary reality and being a revolutionary reality maker. So, I'm inviting you to start to connect to something that is about what role am I going to play and what is the reality that I create. And why this is very important is that your whole life, there is this you that you are, and you were born with a human design that is a very particular role. And every time that I do a consultation or connect with somebody and do their human design chart and see who they are and what their design is and what they were designed to do in this world, which is something that you can do also by going to my website, which is there's a link in the video, clicking on the human design section, getting your human design. This is about what role you're here to play, because when you were born, you were literally given a role. Not a job to slave away at, but a role that is a creative role in the entire reality where everybody has a say. Remember, though, Some people get training their whole life, which is about the reality they're going to run and how big it's going to be and how amazing and wealthy. And then the masses get this ridiculous conditioning about getting a job. And this just makes the masses of people workers and slaves who are effectively in prison having to do a bunch of things they don't want to do instead of making the reality that they came here to make in the role they were given in their own human design. So I'm going to start to have you think about, what role are you here to play? And don't get confused with things like, well, I can do this job or that job. That's the job paradigm. That's the worker slave paradigm. Okay? This is about, what role am I here to play? Right? And you can just look at what your life has been and start to see the themes of the role that you are really here to play. And when you get your human design chart, which we give for free when you go to our website, so that's a value of $500 just to give it to you. But for you to have your human design chart and understand your role is worth millions of dollars. And depending on who you are, it is worth billions. And depending on who you are and how seriously you take it, it is worth trillions of multi-generational wealth throughout the generations for you, your kids, your grandkids, and so on and so on. Because we're talking about making a shift from being a worker with a job to being a wealth maker with a role. Very, very different paradigm. And if you switch from one to the other, this will be how your reality starts to roll. So the other part is connecting to the reality you're here to make. So the reality I'm here to make is a high frequency reality full of prosperity and luxury and wealth for everybody. That's my role. That's my reality. That's the reality I'm here to create. And good news, it just so happens is that's what I was designed to do. And when you align with your design, you get to create that, which makes you automatically wealthy because, first and foremost, instead of slaving away at some job you were not even designed for and may actually be damaging you, which it is, like, if it hurts, it's damaging you. But your role in this life and what it is will liberate you. And the reality, when you connect with the reality you're here to make, it will propel you, because then you get to be in the flow that you were created to do. So when you go get your human design chart, again, the link is in the video, or in the description of the video. You're going to go to the site, you're going to click on human design, and you're going to fill your information, and it's going to give you your human design. It's going to open up your entire world. You're going to literally know what you are and what you were designed for, right? So again, just give you an example. I'm designed as a revolutionary scientist, which is how it all worked out that I would become a psychologist, which is effectively a scientist of psychology. But really, more than anything, I'm a scientist of reality. And revolutionizing reality is my job. Revolutionizing it to be full of prosperity. That's what my design is for. But you've got this same thing, and there's a version of you that you have not met before, but this is the character in the story. This is the role, and this is the reality that you were designed to make. Okay? And when you know that, now you exist in the world as a role player. And notice the emphasis on the word player. Now you're a player in the video game of life instead of a worker down on the bottom of the frequency in pain because somebody taught you that And it was handed down through the masses, generation after generation after generation, in a school system designed to keep you doing all of that so that all the other people can play their role as wealth makers and have more fun and keep it all for themselves. So we got to make a shift. So today you are invited to make a shift, to make an upgrade from a worker to a role player, from having a job to having a role, a position in this world that you were designed to do. And the good news is, when you align with your design, then you don't even have to have all these credentials and all of this stuff. The truth is, I didn't even need to go get a psychology degree. In fact, I hardly had to do anything. I was already this being. And when I went to psychology school, I hardly had to study anything because I was already it. And I could just easily take the test and easily do the work because I was already designed as a revolutionary scientist, right? Who understands reality. And this was how I was born. So I don't have to go to school for something I'm already born to do. I just have to be taught how to be what I am. And so do you. So this is the upgrade today. Lastly, that part about the reality you're here to make, understanding what it is. So for different people, it's making a happy, healthy, wealthy reality. For some people, it's making a fabulous, glamorous, fantastic reality. For some people, it's making a cool, interesting, fun reality. And again, this is for you to be clear, what reality are you creating, right? So I'm here to create a prosperity, luxury, wealthy, flowing, easy reality for people that just so happens to make it healthy and happy and all of this stuff. Okay, so let's get connected to the reality you are here to make, because that is going to start to have you become someone that starts to emanate more wealth and value of what you actually are, and start to bring that to you because you're going to be in a higher frequency, being your real self. That higher frequency starts to bring to you the reality that is meant for you anyway. And now you get to make a shift from being a worker that had a job to being a role player that is playing the game and being a wealth builder that can attain. All right, everyone. So let's take this upgrade in. So really important upgrade. So really important shift from an old pattern, old set of patterns, old paradigm. When I say pattern shift, I'm also meaning a paradigm shift. And it's an upgrade into a higher echelon. And if you make a commitment to that, if you let this upgrade in, you make a commitment to that, it's going to start to change everything. And the shift from being a worker, sorry to say this, worker slave who is imprisoned in something that you weren't even designed to do, to being someone that is liberated to do what you were designed to do, is worth millions and billions and trillions of dollars. To not be in pain is the most valuable thing that you could do. To be in the pleasure of your own human design is another level of value. Like, what would we give? Like, what do we think it's worth to not be a slave and to be a role player, creator, influencer, reality maker? What do we think that's worth? If you forget if you had the money or not, what would you assign to it? I can tell you right now, easily. If somebody said, I can shift you from this to this and you can have a whole different reality, what would that be worth to you if you had all the money in the world to pay us? And say, well, $1 billion. Easily. Some people might say 100 million, whatever it is, $1 billion. I would hand it right over. I'd say, oh my God, that's so amazing. So trust me, if there's anyone in the world offering it to you for less, that's a good deal, right? Because it's a life out of the darkness and low frequency into the lightness and the high frequency, wealthy reality. Okay. This is a multi-million dollar, $1 billion, $1 trillion upgrade. It's time to take it on in. This is your invitation. I can't force you to do it. You can just do the same old thing and get the same old result, or you can make an upgrade, raise your frequency up, shift your paradigm, and start to let the wealth come in and begin to receive it as you were designed to from the very beginning until people trained you and indoctrinated you into something that is so painful. And now we're going to go into a life that is incredibly and exponentially gainful. Okay, moguls, way to go on taking this upgrade in. If you'd like any additional help living a life as the person that you were meant to be in freedom and liberation and wealth and luxury, make sure you click the link in the description of this video. Go to the website, get this important information, and start to take action. There's tons of content there. Also, in order to have an upgrade, we do many things to make it internalize and therefore then materialize. Number one, you've been listening and taking it in. Number two, you've been feeling. Number three, you've been thinking about it. Now I want you to do something that takes it to the next level, and you're going to make a comment. And you're going to go into the comment section. You're going to say, I'm here to play my role and build wealth. Okay? I'm here to play my role and build wealth. I'm here to play my role and build wealth. Once you make that comment, you're putting it into the world, you're staking your claim, you're making a declaration. Now the rest of the reality starts to solidify. And then the next thing you do, if you want to receive an upgrade, is to share it. Because in this world, if you want to know something better, you give it. You want to learn something more and be more masterful, you train it. Okay, you want to receive something, you give it. Now the flow of wealth that is coming to you from the universe through me to you wants to continue to flow. And if it just stops with you, no bueno. It'll think, well, you're not a flow person, so we're not going to give you any more flow. But if you share the wealth, it's going to know you are a flower of wealth and it's going to send it to you. So you're going to share this, put it out into the world so other people can awaken, come into the reality of what is possible for them, and actually finally receive it. All right, moguls, way to take the upgrade. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.